I'm Callie.
I'm Lauren.
And this is the Book Common Room Podcast. Okay, welcome back to our spoiler-filled episode of Tress of the Emerald Sea.
Yes.
I hope you guys liked it. I had fun reading it.
I did too. It was so good.
It is good. It's just a good fairy tale story. So I know with these episodes, we don't usually start with what we've read.
Yes.
But I have to share.
Yes. She has thoughts.
I read this book called City of Thieves by David Benioff. Benioff? Benioff.
Benioff. Okay.
And I need someone to message me on Instagram if you've read this book or not, because I have to find someone who's read this.
Oh,
it's one of those
good thing
books
or bad thing?
Yes.
How did you hear about this book?
Okay, well, I think we need a bingo card for this podcast, and on the bingo card is anytime we talk about The Last of Us. Anytime Kelly talks about Last of Us, cross it off.
By February, blackout. Just kidding.
Literally. Well, so I've been doing a deep dive, like storytelling, and that's like my favorite story, so I was looking into it. And one of the main characters, Lev, is based on the main character in this book. So I was like, I have to figure out his origins.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever been so distraught in my entire life after reading the book. Like, even more
Not
than
even Hunger Games?
Even more than Hunger Games. Even more.
Okay, I'm going to have to read this.
I'm trying to think of, like, other books that I've read where I was, like, so sad. I don't know.
Any R.F. Kuang books?
Any.
Sword of Kaigen?
Sword of Kaigen?
A contender. It's a contender.
Might be still a little bit more. Might still be a little bit more.
Okay.
But this one is a close follow-up. Oh my gosh, I can't say anything without spoiling it. But basically, it's about these two boys. It takes place in Russia during World War II. And one of them is a soldier, but it's kind of a spoiler why, but he gets arrested. And then Lev, our main character, him and his buddies are just like wandering around, and they find a dead German who was like ejected from a plane, died of just like the cold, because it's the middle of winter, hypothermia, crashed, and they like basically stole off of this dead German's body, which was very illegal at the time. And he gets caught basically, and he gets sent to jail. So Lev and the other guy, what's his name? Starts with a K. Kolya. They basically get tasked by the mayor of the town, or the colonel, to go find a dozen eggs for his daughter's wedding cake. Yeah, so that's like the whole thing. So it's like you follow these two boys as they journey to find these eggs, which doesn't sound like all that exciting, but they get into tons of trouble, and there's like so much stuff, and then you get to the end, and I have never wanted to tear a book in half. I've never actually wanted to take a book and like tear it and throw it. It was good. Everyone should read it at least once. But I am
just devastating.
Like, still am seething.
Ooh.
Seething.
Ooh. What are your thoughts in comparison to Grave of the Fireflies?
It's not as devastating as Grave of the Fireflies. It's more frustrating. Like, I feel like Grave of the Fireflies,
it's tragic.
It's about younger kids, and like it was tragic, but it was like so like just sad. This one is sad, but it made me more angry than sad. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
I can't say why, because that's spoilers.
Okay.
Like, I knew going in it was going to be sad, and so I think I was expecting that, but I wasn't expecting the anger.
City of Thieves.
City of Thieves.
I'm excited.
It's not very long. It's pretty short. I think I read it in a couple days. But, anyways, I had to talk about that because I couldn't wait a couple more weeks to talk about it.
to talk about it, yeah.
Yes.
That's crazy. Okay.
Just good. If you guys like World War II stories, I guess. I don't even really usually like real war stories.
Yeah.
It's not usually my thing.
Yeah.
This one was good, though.
That was pretty good. I know. I think I'm reading Atonement right now. And, I love it so much. I've tried reading it before, so I'm like past my notes where I stopped reading. But it also, I think, part of the story takes place during World War II, I think. And so we'll see. But I watched the movie adaptation of this book, and it's
Is it good?
So sad.
Oh, well, yeah.
It's very sad.
I think anything written around that era is just expected to be
Yeah,
sad.
but it's more about like a character that's like living like what her life looks like, and then all those events that have happened on top of like a decision she made that like affects a bunch of characters.
Okay.
And so I'm intrigued to see what happens.
You have to let me know, because that one's also on my list of things I want to read.
Yeah. Ian McEwan. There's a reason that man has so many prizes and awards. He's a
Yes.
good writer.
Yes, this is true.
Anyways, okay. I'm gonna have to read that. Add it to my list of being just suffering reading list.
I know. I need to like stop reading such just devastating books, because I'm reading Hamnet right now. And I've got maybe like 50 pages of it left, and I like don't want to finish it because it's just so sad. Well, it's about the plague. And like, again, I went in knowing sad. I was actually spoiled. Do you know who Brittany Broski is?
Yes.
So she did an interview with
Paul Mescal.
Yes, but I think that was before Hamnet came out.
Oh.
She did an interview with the main lead actress.
Oh, I love her.
Agnes.
She's in a lot. She's in a lot of movies.
I didn't realize that's who it was, so I was just watching it, and then she spoils it in the interview. So I know how it ends, and I'm really sad. Well, I've caught up. I've just read what she spoiled, so don't watch the interview.
Okay.
Because she spoils it.
Isn't it supposed to like be like historical with regards to Shakespeare's family?
Yeah, it's historical fiction. Shakespeare's never named, but it says
because his wife is Anne Hathaway, right? And then he has a son or something.
His wife is Agnes.
Oh, so they name her just something else.
Yeah,
because in real life, I think her name was Anne Hathaway.
Yeah, it was Agnes, and then his children, Susanna, Hamnet, and Judith, I think. And it never actually names Shakespeare. He just always says like I or me, or they references like him. It's almost like how the Bible does God.
Yeah.
But later in the story, it talks about how he's starting to like direct plays, and he goes to London a lot.
Yeah.
So it's more about the wife and the kids than it is about him.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
Yeah. And the plague.
Okay.
The Black Plague.
Okay. Yeah, because I do remember, because I remember like learning about Shakespeare and how his wife was named Anne Hathaway, but I looked it up and I guess they all called her Agnes, even though her name was Anne.
Oh.
So I'm like,
but you don't pronounce it Agnes. It says in the book how to pronounce it, but it's got like that old English pronunciation and spelling, and so yes, I just kind of gave up, and I just call her Agnes.
I just like remember seeing that interview with Paul, and he was like talking about how like he gets so invested in his characters that he was like, there were days where he wasn't like on the shoot schedule, and he'd be like, how's my family? Where's my family?
Yeah,
they
he's
need
not
me
in it a lot.
Yeah,
it's pretty heavy. Like, I think if you have or have recently had young children, it might be a little hard. I had a hard time reading it. There's a couple birth scenes that are a little traumatic. Like, I had to put the book down and like be like, okay, this is not real. So I don't know, it's a little rough. It's really good though.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I've heard. Okay.
Lots
of good books, you guys. Lots of good books. Maybe we just do this every time because so much happens in between these episodes. Anyways, you guys.
Something lighter. Tress. This is our lighter thing.
Yes, this is our light thing. Way to begin January. What did we begin January with last year? Do we remember?
Fourth Wing.
Oh, that's right. We did the hot topic.
We did. We haven't done those since Fourth Wing.
I still haven't finished Onyx Storm, you guys. It's been a year. I don't think I'm going to until the next book comes out, and then I'll do a reread.
Yeah.
Anyways, but not that I wasn't interested. It was more the fact that I was just very worried about a character, and I was like, I can't handle this right now and having a cliffhanger to wait for, so I'm just going to wait for the next book and read this again.
I've done that before too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Tress is a good way
yes.
to start off 2026, you guys.
Yeah, do you want to start?
With my thoughts.
This is another reread of mine.
Oh,
yeah. This is your first time. So what'd you think?
First time. Oh, so good.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't want to be like the person that like hands out 5 stars, but I would for this book.
Oh,
I feel like it's so good, but I just like it wasn't like, oh, this is the best thing ever, but it was like super entertaining. The writing is so witty. It was enjoyable. I would have my children read these books. I would like recommend it to like my nieces, my nephews.
This is a book for all ages.
Yeah, it's so good. But this was the book, I think we talked about this basically in our last episode, but this book really did make me fall in love with Brandon Sanderson's writing again, to the point where I'm like, I'm ready to read his other stuff.
Me too. I'm
Like,
the same way.
I'm like, I kind of want to read his other stuff. So I'm super excited. It makes me want to kind of go through the Stormlight archive again. I'm going to give it another chance. Maybe I was too harsh on it before, or maybe I just didn't get his writing, but I feel like this book was like a good like entryway into his other books. Yeah, I just really enjoyed the like all the characters in this book too, because that was like the other thing about his other stories is like I only really care about one or two characters, but this one he kind of makes you love all the characters, and he like even like the joke that there's Dougs, because he's just like there's two, I don't want to have too many characters, but then someone dies and they're like they're not actually Dougs, and Tress is like I knew him and his name was this, and you were just like, oh, that's so sad. And he's like, I knew he was in love with a girl or something like that, and I was just like, oh, that's so sad. But I loved that joke, and
Wasn't
that was like
one
Dougs.
of them actually named Doug?
Yes.
And that's how it started.
Yeah. And I was like, and then they just were all Dougs because they were just like, for the sake of the story. The rest of the crew are Dougs. But then like when they were attacked, it was because Tress was like at that point the captain of the ship.
Yeah.
And so she like felt the death like on her. And so then you like learn his name. And so she was like, I can't let the crew do this anymore. That's why she goes off and does her own thing. But then everybody still helps her.
This is true.
I love Tress though. Tress is such a good character though, like because like throughout the whole book. Okay, this is gonna. Okay, how far do we want to go?
Just go, man. Just do it.
Okay, because I'm like I don't know if we want to do like a light little touch on the book before we get in deeper.
That's okay. That was last episode.
Okay, beautiful. Because all right, y'all. Okay, I was talking to Callie about this recently because all throughout university, I fell in love with Emmanuel Levinas. And say what you will about the man. A lot of people are like, he should be canceled because he's misogynistic. And I'm like, you know what? If we canceled every man that is like, we would lose a lot of important things.
I was like, he probably was.
Yeah, he probably was. But
listen to what he said.
But listen to what he said. Like he said, and who he was. Like he had this interview. Oh, what was it? It was like philosophy, justice, and love. And it was like that. Those were like the topics that he was being interviewed about. And I think he has like a book, like Totality and Infinity. And he says the other, which is like someone different to you. But he just says the other because we're naturally inclined to kind of have, okay, this isn't everybody because it can be cultural, but there's usually like a disconnect between other people because they're different from you.
Yeah.
And so he's like, the other is indispensable for my relation with God. He does not play the role of a mediator. The other is not the incarnation of God, but precisely by his face in which he is disincarnate is the manifestation of the height in which God is revealed. Now, so that sounds like super like scholarly, but throughout his like writings, it becomes more clear. It kind of is like what Victor Hugo says, where it's like to love another person is to see the face of God. I'm relating this to Tress because Tress feels this responsibility for people she does not really know.
Yeah.
She like gets on the ship and she's just doing this to find her true love. She's just trying to find Charlie. But in doing this, she like sees that this crew is being used by Crow and had the chance to escape. Crow wanted her to escape because she's like, oh, she can like tell people that we're dead runners so that way they're forced to do what I want. But she like stays on the ship knowing that Crow was like trying to get her to like leave because she knew Crow would let her, but she stayed because she felt a responsibility to like all these people that she didn't really know. Mm-hmm. And it makes me think of Levinas because Levinas talks about how there's just this humanness when we can see another person and not feel confrontation, but feel a responsibility, which isn't a bad thing. Or like when we pity people, like sometimes people are like, oh, don't give me your pity. But pity is like a very human thing because it's humanizing other people and like putting and helping you like learn how to have empathy and compassion. But I'm just like, I think that's why I love Tress so much in this book is because she just has like immense empathy and like such like a moral code that like is like all centered around taking care of other people, which is so cute because she's like out trying to save Charlie, but while she's trying to save Charlie, she's also trying to save this crew. And I'm like, oh, anyways.
She's my hero.
And I'm like, she's like this 18-year-old first experience out in the world and like literally saving everybody. So that was like my thought of the book. Like it made me fall in love with Brandon Sanderson. I want to read his other stuff. And like this character trait of Tress is like really moved me. And we can share favorite quotes later, but anyways, that was my thought.
Yeah, no, what was your favorite quote? Because doesn't it go with that?
It kind of does. Maybe not. It might feel kind of random, actually. I think it was this speaks more to the cleverness of Brandon Sanderson's writing and like how it's like he puts into words something I've experienced that I can't like eloquently put into words he can.
The quote that I have kind of has to do with what you're saying.
Okay,
is it okay if I go?
Yes,
okay.
Because then it's kind of like a subject change. So keep going.
I also loved this whole story because of that.
Yeah.
I consistently, my favorite stories have to do with things like that.
Yeah, I love that.
Or where it's like talking about humans and why we should all like be there for each other
take care
as
of each
humankind.
Yes.
Like how inherently we're all tribalistic.
Yes.
And when one of my goals in life is when I see someone who's either isolating themselves is to like help them not do that. So Tress is someone who at the beginning she isolated herself. Mm-hmm. But then as soon as she started to open herself up to the crew, started caring about them, they all just fell in love with her.
Yeah. And she was herself.
Yes.
She was just herself. And it just like it was hilarious because people were like, she's a king's mask.
Yes.
And it wasn't until like the end when like I think it was Soleil. Soleil was like, "You're not a king's mask."
No.
She's like, "I tried to tell you."
I wasn't lying.
She's like, "I tried to tell you."
I was telling you the truth the whole time.
Yeah.
So my favorite quote has to do with that. It's on chapter 39, page 218. The Chicken Keeper is what it's called, which I find hilarious. So she's talking to Anne. Tress is feeling bad for having the crew help her for what she wants. And so Anne's like you're fine. Like you shouldn't do that. But then they just have this really nice conversation and Tress is like, why do you care so much about guns? And then Tress opens up about how she loves cups. And they're kind of just talking about that and like it's kind of weird that we're obsessed with these objects.
Yes, yes.
But then Anne, at one point, she says, you can basically define someone by the stuff they like, Tress. It's what sets us apart, you know. We talk about how important culture is, but what is culture? It ain't government or language or any of that hokum. No, it's the stuff we like. Plays, stories, marble collections. Cups, Tress asks? I suppose. Why not?
I love that.
I don't agree with the language is not part of culture.
Oh, because it totally is.
Yeah. I think it is.
Or at least there's something that precedes the language, but like that's what makes Yeah.
But that was just kind of a side thing. But to go along with this, I love that. Like you can tell the culture of just a single person, not necessarily a group as a whole, by the stuff they like.
Yeah.
Like you could tell the culture of us, like even just the two of us, by all of these books that we have that we read.
Yeah.
And then anytime we disagree with like Fourth Wing. Yeah. Anytime we disagree about a book, it's like, oh, that's cool. Like we don't want to be alone, but we're still individuals, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And there's like this balance of like learning about people and loving people for their differences, but then coming together still.
Yes.
Which I love.
Yes. Okay. So I found a better quote that I think I'm going to share really fast.
You should still share the other one. But yes.
Oh, yes. Okay. So this one isn't from the book. This is like back to this idea that Levinas is presenting. And I didn't want to make this super scholarly, but he just puts it so well. He says the concept of ethical responsibility is defined, well, like he defines the other as just, we already explained this, the human being distinct from ourselves, but ethical responsibility is just such an interesting concept. Okay, so anyway, so he says we often encounter each other one at a time, face to face. And according to him, encountering the other is foundational to being human, which you kind of were saying with Anne and like Tress, their exchange and also like seeing how that person, like what they do and what they keep. But he says that encountering the other is foundational to being human, it means that people are ethically responsible when one comes into contact with the human face. The human face orders and ordains us, while the subject is called into giving and serving the other. And I just thought that was so interesting. Like this idea that when you meet someone, like the most human thing possible would be like being able to see them and want to help them.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't go like super along with my quote, but I really love, Tress just has such interesting thoughts that she shares. Like there's like a couple things like in the story where I'm like, that is so true.
Yeah.
Like, and this is kind of going away from, I guess, the core of what we really liked about Tress's character with her regards to like how she takes care of other people. But like she moves from that isolation to more of a collective mindset, I guess. She like was talking about how like she would wash windows, right? And she loved doing that because it gave her time to think. And she was just like talking about how it's really tough when you have a job where you have to think all the time, because when you come home, you don't want to think.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, that's so real. So she says like a lot of like relatable, quirky things in the book that I'm like, oh man, like that just makes you like fall in love with Tress. But one of my favorite quotes was when she talks about memories. And I think this is very important because like this is like a coming of age story. And she says, memories have a way of changing on us, souring or sweetening over time, like a brew we drink. And I love this because she relates it to tea, because she just loves tea. And then we recreate that brew later by taste, only getting the ingredients mostly right. You can't taste a memory without tainting it with who you have become. And I loved that because I feel like that is very true for me. Like, I feel like our minds, that like other quote, man, this is like all these quotes are coming. So I hope that this is tracking, because I feel like I have a lot of thoughts and it's really hard to present them clearly. But there's that quote that's like, your mind is like a palimpsest. And it's basically like a manuscript that's been like rewritten over and over. And that's like how our minds are with our memories. Like Tress, like your memories are getting more and more different from what they originally were, because as you grow older, you look at them different because your perspective changes. Just like when you read a book like Harry Potter now versus when you were 14, or like when you watch a movie when you become a mom. Like for me, like I was watching the 4th Harry Potter. I used to make fun of this scene where it was like, my boy. And then I watched that and I was crying because I was like, oh my gosh, like that's so sad to lose your child. Like I just made fun of the acting, but now I'm like, honestly, that is such a devastating moment and I can't believe I did that. But it's just like Tress is becoming, and they say it at the end of the book, where it was like she like has become like a woman. She's not just like a little girl that was like wanting to get off her rock and save her true love, but she's become a matured person because she saw that she needed to take care of people more than just Charlie.
Yeah. Well, it's how she knew that the fake Charlie wasn't
the real
Charlie was because he was the same.
Yeah.
And she's like, we've both gone through so much. I think it was 2 years had passed.
Yeah.
That he wouldn't be the same.
He would have changed.
He would have changed because I've changed. And that's how she knew, oh, this isn't him.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was a rat.
It was a
that
rat.
Was a twist I didn't see coming.
Okay.
I thought that was actually kind of awesome. I was like, what? How did I not see this?
Okay, low key, I entertained the idea, but I never nailed it. It was never like, I knew it.
Yeah.
But like I entertained the idea at the beginning, but I got it shut down because I kept confusing Hoyd with Huck.
Yeah.
Like it was so hard to like, because Hoyd was narrating.
Yeah.
But he would say things that Huck would say.
Yeah.
And so I was like, hold up. So when at the very end, when it was like, Hoyd came to help, I was like, whoa, what?
Hold on.
Like, and so I was just like, okay, so I thought it could have been Charlie, but then I totally shot it down because I just was so confused with the narrator. I was like, what is happening? But it didn't deter me from this story. I got to that and I was like, oh, that's nice. Like the main character that I also kind of thought was the rat was the one that saved the day because he just happened to have, I mean, he was just taking his sweet time with his curse. So like, that was a crazy plot twist. It was just like, dude, what the heck? Anyways, yeah, but that was like crazy because you were just like, because he was trying to say Charlie, but then it came out to be Chuck, but then it came out to be Huck.
Yep.
And I'm like, that's such a nice touch. Like, it was just so funny.
I know. So when the first time I read it, I had heard that it was supposed to be like the Princess Bride.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, she's just gonna go save him.
Yeah.
Charlie's just gonna be like waiting to be saved.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh wait, no, yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah.
He could turn into a rat.
Yep.
And it was actually all a trap.
Yep. It was a trap, and he was trying not to lead her, but by not trying to lead her, it
ended up leading her
there. And so you're just like, oh, but it was so good.
Yeah, it was just like a fun, whimsical story that has magic that's just fun.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, like the magic was interesting enough that it compelled me to keep going, but it wasn't so like fantasy heavy, if that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly.
I gotta have to dissect the magic system.
Yes.
I could just enjoy it.
It kind of reminded me of Stardust a little bit.
Okay.
In like how it's not super heavy fantasy,
Mm-hmm.
but it has like that fantastical element that like is easy to digest.
Yeah.
But and very like entertaining, because I think Stardust is also like a coming of age love story.
Mm-hmm.
Just really sweet. But I loved it. I just love how quirky it was. Yeah, Tress is the best.
So good. Well, is there anything else in the book you want to talk about?
I don't think so. I think like the whole plot, like the plot twist about it being Charlie the whole time was interesting. You were just like, his dad like threw him over for some other person he adopted, adopted from like another line, but like everyone was like, it's his son. And I was like, what? Like that was wild.
I love how Tress just immediately was like,
that's fine.
I am going to go save him.
Yep.
She was just going to do it.
Yep. So she just left and literally was flying by the seat of her pants, because she did not know anything.
No.
She didn't know anything, but she did so good. And like her figuring out the spores. That was another thing too, is like she talks about how much she's changed, and like how like it was weird for her to like not just have her things for teacups, but then like slowly discover new interests. Like she loves the ethers or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what like is like a huge thing in the book too, is because like she's afraid of them, but she's more curious than she's afraid.
Yeah, she respects them.
Yeah. And
like recognizes the dangers, but that doesn't mean that they're inherently like bad or anything.
Yeah. And that was the joke in the book too, is she was like, not many planets are like this, where it's just casual like what is it? Like casual destruction.
Yeah.
Whereas like other planets, like they're dangerous, but this is like, you're just like, the ocean looks so peaceful, or like the whatever, but it's like
a storm happens
and like vines are popping out everywhere.
Yep.
And so
there would be really random, like super violent things that would happen. I'm like, whoa.
Like when Crow shot herself in the face.
Yes.
And I was like, ah. Like popping out of her eyes, and then it went back. I was like, whoa. It was like, what was it? It was like a Beetlejuice scene.
Uh-huh.
I was like, ugh.
Well,
that was
the
crazy.
other thing with Tress flying by the seat of her pants was when they're talking to the dragon, and she's just like, I don't know what came over me, but I opened my mouth. And if you have a prisoner, one thing you should do is make sure they can't talk.
Oh, that was hilarious. Like when she walked back, she was like,
that worked?
Yeah. Well, it was like they kept saying, you have everything you need.
Uh-huh.
And she was like,
huh?
She was like, I don't have my flare gun.
I have
flare, like
nothing.
She literally like built this like mechanism to like shoot. Like it was crazy. Like she was coming out with a gun using spores. It was crazy. But she's like, I don't have that. And the fact that she was like, you should keep Crow. The dragon was like, okay. It seems like it would be better for the world if I keep her, because he can like continually heal her, because she would only survive for like a year after that. And Crow was kind of like, okay, by the end. Like she was like fighting it, and then at the end it was like, it seemed like she like she kind of just faded in that part of the story. I'm like, okay. And then she just walks out. Everyone's like, what the? She survived. It was crazy. But I loved that part, because I was like so curious how that was going to go down. I was curious. And also you meet a dragon. That was fun.
Yeah, that was fun.
You meet a dragon. Like when I was, and also I listened to the audio for like the last few chapters, and I love it because they give Anne an Irish accent. So she like speaks so fast with this like accent. And then I also got the pronunciations a little bit better, because I was like, Excisis? How do you say the dragon's name? But yeah, it was like pretty graphic at times. I was like, whoa. Didn't need to know that. But anyways, I think that's really it for me with Tress.
Me too.
I'm excited to hear what you guys have to say.
Yes.
But we've got some questions.
Oh, yeah. Do we want to go into this? Do you have time to talk about this?
I think so.
Okay, cool.
I think we have time. I'm
Just
sorry for the ramble. I just feel like I had like so many like abstract thoughts
No, I
that
love
I was
it.
feeling at the same time as reading this. So if it's a little like not coherent, that's just how my brain works.
No, I love it. I love it. So when I was planning out kind of this episode and what we could talk about, I watched this video. Her name's Elliot Brooks. I'll link the video I'm going to reference and her page because she's awesome. She just talks about like fantasy books she's read, but she is a writer herself. She'll do a lot of like video essays and she'll pose a question. And
that's kind of cool.
Like, what do readers want from editors, or what do readers want less from editors or publishing? It's all very interesting.
Yeah.
And she, a couple months ago, last year sometime, she posted this video where she talked about a book that she didn't name this book, but she was like, this is a super popular book, and she felt like the editing just wasn't there. Like, there just was no editing involved. And I feel like Brandon Sanderson gets accused of this a lot.
Really?
Like, he publishes a ton. Well, I feel like it's a lot like Lord of the Rings with Tolkien. It's kind of in the same vein. Or Sarah J. Maas gets accused of this a lot too. So my question is, like, I think Tress probably isn't part of this conversation.
Yeah.
But would you feel like in like the Stormlight archives, do you feel like there is a lack of an editor involved in this kind of stuff? Because I do think this is a trend in the fantasy world.
Yeah.
That just people get accused of a lot.
I think this really speaks to the kind of reader you are.
Yeah.
This question, because I don't feel like I could answer it very well, because when I read it for the first time, I think I was just overwhelmed by the magic. And so I wasn't really thinking about the writing as much as trying to understand the world. And maybe that's
I
the
think
problem.
That's what people talk about, yeah.
Because it's like you're kind of distracted trying to understand the concepts of the book. So then when you go back to the writing, you're like, wait a second. So I want to reread the Stormlight Archive. And so I'll let you know, because I'll have that like a different lens going into it this time. But I myself as a reader, I feel like I'm kind of a naive reader. Like I kind of go and being like, this author is incredible. Like there's such a good, like in class all the time, I would like be like, I love James Joyce. And I would come into class and everyone's like, he sucks. And I was like, what? Like, how could you say that? None of us are even close to being a good writer like he was. But I feel like I don't have that like lens when I'm reading. But looking at Tress and feeling like I didn't feel so overwhelmed by the fantasy magic, I feel like he did have an editor, because everything that was in the book needed to be in the book. I didn't feel like there was any extra. And the things that felt unimportant were important to making it the quirky book it is. Needless to say, like I think Lord of the Rings could have used an editor, which is very controversial. But it's just because sometimes you don't want to take the reader out of the experience, and sometimes that happens because there's just either too much information and it can be really hard. They call it like killing your darlings, but it's hard. But when like you read it, I feel like, especially on rereads, I notice and I pick up on that more. So I don't know if Tress is like that. And Stormlight Archive was just so overwhelming that I would be curious to reread it and see if like I would feel like other people where it's like he needed an editor. Yeah,
I would be very curious of your opinion, because I think that is just becoming a trend, especially in fantasy. Like as soon as an author becomes popular, there's this conspiracy theory that's pretty popular that publishing companies just want more content. So they'll have an editor, but the editor will only have like a week.
Minimal. Oh,
like
wow.
Going through where and usually you have multiple different kinds of editors, right? Like you'll have a copy editor that goes line by line. Is this grammatically correct? Is this readable? And then you'll have an editor that'll look at things like, oh, you said it was raining 3 days ago and it's still raining. Like continuity stuff.
I was going to say, like, it makes me call out, but Emily Henry on some of her books, that there are continuity issues, and it seems like maybe it's more about it being rushed because of these producers.
And she's an author that just publishes a ton.
Interesting.
It's like Brandon Sanderson. Like, he publishes all the time. So it does make me wonder, like, how much time do his editors have to go through and really say, hey, this is cool, but you already have something else in there that's like it, so you don't need both things in there.
Yeah. I was going to say, I always think about editors' relationships when I look at like post-war literature. Like I'm thinking about Hemingway, and like those books, because they're not heavy fantasy, they're literary fiction, and they like had good editors. They like took the time to be like, this character wouldn't have done this.
Yeah.
Like, and if they do, you need to help us understand why.
Yeah.
Or like at least like, I don't know. So like, I don't know if editors are as invested or can be if these like companies are just pushing to get content out faster and faster.
Yeah.
It's like a conversation where it was like once the printing press came out, like writing became super diluted because it was like there's now you have like crap writing, and not everything you read is going to be super great because it's not all written by super educated people, or you have people just wanting to write to get money, so then it's just commodifying writing. I don't know.
And I also think people don't really realize that anybody's first draft is gonna suck.
Yeah.
It just is. So if you publish a first draft, this person might be an amazing author, but they published their first draft.
Yeah.
So it's just not gonna be as good as it could be.
Yeah.
So the book that Elliot Brooks talks about is, so it's the second book to The Will of the Many, so The Strength of the Few.
Oh, yes.
Super popular book. And like it exploded on the internet, and I took a couple screenshots of the quotes that she had on here. So this isn't necessarily like content, but just like actual words on the page. Yeah.
Okay.
So there was one where on the same page there was a line that says, I take a half step back, period. It's at least ... 3,000 feet in diameter more. And then literally like a paragraph later, for those waves to be visible at the distance, I can barely guess at their height, 100 feet more. So it's literally like the same sentence twice, like paragraphs away.
That is such an editing oversight.
Or just little even readable things. So this one says, you have questions, I have answers, and gods know you're smart enough to know you need them. So to know and to know. Versus like, you have questions, I have answers, and God knows you're smart enough to understand that you need them. Or just like something different instead of to know and to know.
Yeah.
And I think that's just like a thing that's happening in books nowadays that I've noticed. Because the like really short sentences is a stylistic choice. Like,
yes, it is. And the Sarah J. Maas does it all the time.
Sarah J. Maas does it a lot.
I do it too, actually.
And
it can be annoying.
It's almost like, but then sometimes I feel like people are taking it too far. So I'm just going to share this last example. So this one says, the silver beneath our feet begins to throb with rhythmic white, period. Getting rapidly brighter, period. Instead of, the silver beneath our feet begins to throb with rhythmic white, comma, getting rapidly brighter.
Yeah.
Or getting rapidly brighter, comma, the silver beneath our feet begins to throb with rhythmic white. So it's almost like there's this like with The Strength of the Few, since the first book was so popular, the publishing company just wanted it to get out now. So the editors that this author might have had were probably good.
I was going to say.
But they didn't have time. So they didn't have time to notice these things.
Yeah.
Or to say, hey, it would actually be better with a comma.
I feel like this is a class A example of quantity over quality.
Yeah.
Like, I do feel like editing is getting worse then. For sure. Because maybe it's just on a bigger scale because so many more books are being published. And like, I guess there's just like industry pressure to get like books out faster. And I bet there's budget cuts that come into it.
Or like AI, like I think a lot of books, like publishing companies are trying to put AI in there, and AI would look at each of those sentences and probably see, oh yeah, that is technically correct.
Yeah.
But stylistically, at this point, I don't think AI can understand that. You need a person to go in and say, hey, I get the style, but it could be better like this.
Yeah. It's like AI is a great blueprinting tool, but it should not be the main source of the art. Because art is human.
Yes.
It's inherently human. And you can tell when it's not.
Yeah.
Like, I also just feel like this might be controversial too. I'd be very intrigued to see what other authors say about this, but I feel like we're in a good enough culture where it's like you're prioritizing the entertainment, not the quality, the prose, which can be frustrating, I think, because especially for writers like Ian McEwan or Cormac McCarthy, who clearly find writing like is their craft and they've made it their craft. But then there's other authors out there that enjoy writing and world building, but they're okay with the good enough.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if that's good or bad, but
I agree with what you're saying. I mean, you can see it in TV.
Yeah.
Like I would argue with like Stranger Things. Stranger Things was good, but like it could have been better. It could have been better, but I think this is a conspiracy theory of mine, but I feel like there's this level of they knew people were just going to watch it no matter what.
Yeah.
So it just needed to be good enough.
Yeah, it just needed to be good enough. I also and we can end this soon because I feel like this was like this is a bit of a ramble here, but I also saw this video that was like talking about the conspiracy on like why Stranger Things ended. And I mean, like it had emotional writing. It was very emotionally driven. I felt like
you could tell they cared.
They cared about it. You could tell like the actors really cared about their characters. But I think there was something missing, and I can't put my finger on it. But someone pointed out that one of the big writers throughout was not there season 5.
Oh, yes, I've heard all about this.
It was Matt Duffer's wife.
Yeah.
And they got a divorce. And then everyone's like, it shows.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, that could show on like one of the Duffer brothers because he could have been struggling while he was writing it and he just was doing what's good enough. Or the fact that his wife would have brought up a ton of continuity things, which this season felt like that what these people are saying about these editors.
Yeah.
It felt like it needed more time to be thought through. So there's just so many continuity issues in this last season.
You could even argue with Fourth Wing. She what's that author's name? Rebecca Yarros. Like a lot of stuff that I might not have liked in that probably could have been smoothed over if she wasn't just like pressured to come out with stuff so fast.
Yeah.
I think Brandon Sanderson is in his own little world where he just writes really fast.
Yeah.
And I bet you he's got tons of editors just on hand. To just edit things so that he can get things published really quickly.
Yeah.
But I do wonder if he should slow down and like take time to really think about, okay, my world is too big. It just is.
Yeah.
And like, is it okay for me to cut it a little bit?
I also feel like on the other side of the spectrum though, sometimes you get stuck with editors when you spend so much time going through it. You just got to get it out.
That's fair.
And so it's just hard to know that balance. But I think with Brandon Sanderson, I feel like, and these other like fantasy authors, I feel like they need to have tiers in editing where it's like you just need to do, and I'm sure that they do, but it's just like I need the basic grammar edit, I need the continuity, I need the holistic, what is this you're like as a reader getting from this?
Yeah.
But
and it could also just be the type of reader like you were saying.
Yeah.
Like I love stuff like Tress, where there is a cool magic system, but it is simpler.
Yeah.
And I don't love getting lost in the big world.
Yeah.
Like I just don't really have the patience for that.
Because then you have to literally sit and think about it.
It might be good, but it's just not for me.
Because like you have to remember the terms.
Yeah.
Like the vocab. And you're like, wait, shoot, I don't remember what that is. Tress is not like that. Tress is like, it does not matter if they bring it up. Like it won't change the story. And most of the time it's just to humor you, I feel like. But true. Anyways, this was a rambly, fun discussion on Tress. Because Tress is such a good book, but also like, I feel like it has so many veins into multiple conversations.
That's also why I think I love books like Tress, where it opens up the conversation to tons of stuff like this.
You can go in any, like we went into editing and publishing, but we also were like philosophical.
And it doesn't necessarily provide an answer, just more of a, hey, here's an idea that I think it's important to talk about. Like you should think about this.
Yeah. Anyways, we hope you guys enjoyed. Let us know what other conversations you feel like Tress opens up for you.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on Tress. I know my husband started reading Tress because of our last episode. And I was like, oh, that makes me so happy. Because it's a Brandon Sanderson, which he likes, but it definitely is a different vibe. And he's liking it.
It's not his
normal
high
cup
fantasy.
Yeah. It's not his, but he's enjoying it. And I hope you guys do too.
Yes. Do you want to talk about what we're reading next month?
Yes.
Our Borges short stories?
Yes, you guys. Okay, this is going to be super fun. Next month, we're going to read short stories by Argentinian writer Jorge Luis Borges. This man is a legend.
Yes. So good.
If you've never heard of him, he's going to change your life.
Yes.
If you're like, you watch Christopher Nolan movies and you have like mind-blowing moments, this book times 10. This is like, these short stories are incredible. I'm going to link these short stories for you guys. And so I don't have their names on the top of my head,
it's okay.
unless you want me to go grab them.
It's okay.
But yeah, we'll link these short stories. We're going to do 4 of them just because they're so abstract. So they're kind of short, but super enjoyable. And that will be way more rambly than this conversation because they literally are so abstract. But he's an incredible writer, and I think will help open up our reading. I don't know, like the types of things you're reading.
Yeah. We want to do a balance between like fun stuff and popular stuff like Tress, but then we're academics at heart.
Yes.
So
yes, and also like I think this is a cultural thing too. Like I feel like he's a very popular writer in Latin America, and so I think it's really important.
And it's a translated work.
Yeah, it's translated.
So that's cool.
Yeah,
yes.
But she is a comparative lit person, so
well,
she's probably like, we gotta read this in Spanish.
I don't know Spanish.
Okay. Just kidding. But we're excited to share that with you guys, mix it up a little bit, and go easy on you guys this year versus the early 2025.
Oh yeah, that
was crazy. So we're just keeping it light, but also still intellectually stimulating,
yes,
entertaining. But
cool.
Anyways, thank you guys.
See you next time.
Bye. That was so fun. I could talk about this stuff for forever.
Me too.